Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another one in our Versus series, where today I will be comparing the ASG CZ 805 Bren against the Tokyo Marui Scar series. Now obviously in an ideal world this would be a Mark 16 or a Scar Light for the best comparison, certainly when we're talking about mag capabilities and what have you with the Bren. But unfortunately I don't own a Mark 16, so we work with what we've got. Right off the bat, I think you will agree that both weapons share a very similar form factor. The Bren obviously being referred to largely as the Czech Scar. And it's very obvious to see why when you look at how these two line up in terms of receiver sizes, general width comparisons, that kind of issue. And it's also fair to point out that both variants come in several different guises. Both have a long and short barreled versions. And in the case of the Scar, as previously mentioned, we have a Mark 16 and a Mark 17 as well. So let's talk about price, and this is where the Bren really shines through. They regularly sell for around the £300 mark, although I have seen the A2 variant that we have here with the shorter barrel sell for as little as £280. The Scar, on the other hand, tends to be found more around the £500 mark. There is some variance between either the Scar Light or the Scar Heavy, and again there's a few pounds difference if you're going for the longer or shorter barrel variants as well. But largely the Scar is going to come for around £200 to £220 more expensive than the Bren. So how did Tokyo Marui go about justifying all of that extra cost? I can't honestly tell you it's in terms of quality, because both the ASG Bren and the Tokyo Marui Scar series are exquisitely manufactured airsoft replicas. They share a quality control and attention to detail that really can't be knocked. The Scar, however, does come with Tokyo Marui's next-gen recoil system. And this is an electronic recoil system. It's not the firmest or hardest recoil impulse I've ever felt, but nor is it the weakest either. And to be honest, that's no bad thing. It means that it's a highly reliable system that isn't going to shake the weapon to pieces given enough time. Being a Marui, you're probably paying a little bit for the badge name as well, which is to be anticipated. And let's not forget that Marui magic hop-up. Performance-wise, both guns are very similar, pushing out just shy of 300 FPS. The Bren does arguably push a little bit harder, but we are only talking a variance of about another 5 or 6 FPS over the Scar on average, which, all things considered, you're unlikely to notice too much out on the airsoft field. The Scar does, however, benefit from that magic Marui hop-up, which in testing I did find made the weapon slightly more consistent at grouping shots the further the distance became. However, both guns are very accurate at 30 meters and under. It's also worth noting that the Bren comes with its own built-in MOSFET, which, when you're using one of the higher powered LiPo options, gives you better trigger response and rate of fire. Both the Bren and the Scar Mark 16 are very capable and high quality alternatives to an M4. They still allow you to run a varied amount of M4 or AR-15 or Stanang style magazines, and thus you don't need to swap around and change too much of your already established airsoft paraphernalia. But which of our airsoft options will take the winner's podium for me today? Well, when these two guns are so similar in form factor, in performance, in build quality, there's very, very little to tell between the two except the cost factor. And in those terms, the ASG Bren has to be the winner. At £200 cheaper on average than the Scar, it's money that you can invest in upgrades, a new optic, more gear, more magazines, or arguably you could save the money as well. That is an option too. But yeah, it's just pound for pound more cost effective to go for the Bren. That being said, us airsofters don't always follow our wallets in terms of airsoft. There is other factors involved as well. And when we look at things like that, maybe the Scar comes out as the winner, because the recoil system on this adds a value that the Bren just can't match. It's tactile. There's a visceral nature to it. And it adds to that sense of immersion on a game day, where you really feel like you're out there on the battlefield. The gun's shaking around, it's making more noise. There's just a tactile and sort of, I can't describe it without sounding a bit wishy-washy, but yeah, there's more to it than just the money sense. So I would say today, as a conclusion, if cost effectiveness and performance and value for money is your thing, the Bren is definitely the winner. If, however, you value that sort of ability to lose yourself in the game day and feel like you're out there on the battlefield, so to speak, although obviously this is just airsoft, then the Scar takes it. It really, really does, just for that recoil system. Okay, guys. If you've enjoyed today's episode, as wishy-washy as that conclusion is, then a like and a subscribe is always welcome, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.